shoot, I didn't get any of the books out. 1 second. Before anyone asks what happened here, I took a singular book out and the entire top half threatened to collapse on me and crush me, including my plants. So this will be fixed later. Hey everyone, it's Teresa and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be me talking about the books that I read in March. I read a total of 7. Total of 7 books. One was an arc that I DNF'd, one was a guide to a tarot book, and some of them were random tidbits here and there. But let's just kind of jump into it. I'm going to talk about the book that I ended up DNFing for the month. That is actually an arc, and this book is out now. This is Chaos in the Flame by Tessa Gratton and Justina Ireland. This was given to me by Penguin Teen, so thank you very much, Penguin Teen, for giving me my very first physical arc, and I'm so sorry I did not like it. I DNF'd this around probably close to 50%. This is a YA high fantasy following an orphan set on revenge after the murder of her family and a war prince who despises battle but has to go through it for the sake of his brother. The two of them come together and chaos ensues. This is part of, I think, a greater trilogy that's going to be coming out soon. This first book I said is out now. I think it came out on the 18th. I was really excited for this book. It sounded right up my alley, but I was hesitant as I have read Tessa Gratton's adult works before, The Kings of Innis Lear, and I wasn't the biggest fan of that. So I was like, will I enjoy this? I don't know, but I figured that YA might have been the step to go into. I got almost halfway through the book and was wondering what the heck was going on. I was wondering when the plot was going to happen. I was wondering what the plot was exactly. It was just all kinds of weird and concerning, and eventually I had to DNF it because I didn't understand much of it, and I was kind of, to be honest, feeling myself starting to fall into a slump because of it. So, DNF. The next arc is Chasing Pacquiao by Rod Pulido. This is a YA contemporary following young Bobby, who is a closeted teen in 2016. He is forcibly kicked out of the closet, forcibly outed, and is heavily bullied and physically assaulted by bullies and his peers alike. He ends up taking up boxing, inspired by Manny Pacquiao, to stand up to his bullies, and now kind of goes into a bit of a spiral when Manny Pacquiao comes out with those very degrading comments back in 2016. This was part of my vlog, catching up on the or talking about some of my 5-star predictions. This is one of the first follow-ups, so I will leave the 5-star predictions vlog where I talk about the books that I'm hoping are 5-star predictions, and the first follow-up vlog. I give this a 3 out of 5 stars. This book comes out in May. I was really excited for this book. I'm not going to go too much into detail because I am going to do a full-length review once the book is released, just to give more of my thoughts and flesh it out. But I had high hopes for this book. I truly wanted this book to touch on things involving Manny Pacquiao's homophobic comments, how that affects teens today, and how that affects our it's a lot to ask of a book, but how that affects teens who are coming out who are Filipino during this time, and how that could affect someone who used this man as like a way to defend himself and to feel more comfortable in his sexuality. I was highly disappointed in this book. A lot of the problems involved mainly the pacing. Secondly, the other problem was that the actual big problem with this book, like the big plot, wasn't introduced until about 78% of the book. I have seen other Filipino reviewers mention this book as well, as I've seen. Now, this was the thing that I was confused of within. I'll leave the link to said review also linked down below from that reviewer. But this is where I was confused reading the book. I haven't been to the Philippines since 2003. I don't really speak the language. I don't have a lot of friends in America that are Filipino. I do have a handful, but not enough to like really hear this kind of vernacular from them. In the book, it mentions that the word bakla, which literally translates to gay. It translates to gay. Is all I've known it for. It just translates to gay. And of course, you can use the word bakla as like an insult the same way you can use gay as an insult. But this, the author really leaned into it, and there were a lot of comments from this reviewer that said that it's not a slur. It's just literally just same thing as you and me saying it's gay. I didn't mention that in my vlog simply because I don't speak the language. I'm not very fluent in the language, and I'm not up to date with any slang that might have changed since I was there in 2003. My parents are still fluent in Tagalog, but again, they haven't been there either since 2003, so like I can't use them as a litmus test for what is considered a slur or not. But yeah, so I thought I'd throw that out there if you're already in the book, just because it's not supposed to be a slur, and I thought I was very confused when I did, so throwing that out there. But yeah, I will have more thoughts of this book when it comes out. I will also leave my vlog link down below so you guys can have more of my, more stream of consciousness thoughts while I'm reading through the book. But yeah, it was just a disappointment. I had high hopes for this book, and part of me feels like it's a title issue, part of me feels like it's a synopsis issue, but overall, I just felt like for the majority of the book, I was reading an entire novel about a young queer teen idolizing Manny Pacquiao. Like I said, the vlog will explain more of that, and if you want more in-depth reviews, I'll have that come out probably late April, early May. We'll see. And moving on to the last book, because I don't think it's big enough for me to put it on the screen, but that is Guide Through the Darkwood Tarot by Sasha Graham. This is like I mentioned this in the vlog for Spirit Bound, but this is a 300 page tarot book guide. I wasn't going to include it in my stuff, but it was 300 pages. It was a novel on its own, so it had to get included. But this is, as I said, a guidebook to a specific tarot set that I currently purchased called the Darkwood. I will leave that link down below for y'all Darkwood people, like tarot people who would like to introduce yourselves into it. It's a new way of like how they had it setting up, like reading through these tarot books or tarot cards books. I give it a 5 out of 5 stars. Probably one of the more informative guidebooks I've had in a tarot set. I felt like I really started to understand the cards a lot more, and I like the way how they read the how they interpreted a lot of the reversals. Again, I'll leave the tarot deck down for y'all. Leave the tarot deck down below for y'all. Moving on to the other book that I read for my 5-star predictions vlog, and that is Asus Fades by Farida Abike Imiyide. In my head, I know how to pronounce their name. When I try to say it, all thoughts go out the window. It's Farida Abike Imiyide. This is a YA kind of like dark academia thriller following 2 young black students as they reach their senior year at this well-known prep school. As their senior year starts up, it's obvious that their secrets start getting released, and they don't exactly know who is releasing them, who is threatening them with these informations, and who is trying to wreck their potential futures. But they are now on a hunt to figure out exactly what happened. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. Again, this vlog will be linked down below for y'all, so you'll know exactly my stream of consciousness thoughts. I really did enjoy it. I feel like a lot of the issues I did have with the book, and ultimately what stopped me from giving it a full 5, were more so the pacing. I feel like it kind of got a little muddled toward the end and kind of the middle, and didn't feel like it flowed very well. And I would have liked to have seen a bit of a stronger camaraderie between Chi and Devon. I feel like had they just kind of gone their separate ways at the end of the book, it would have made more sense, but instead they still remain fairly close by the end of the novel. I'm not going to spoil how so, but I feel like with that, I feel like they could have been closer by the end of the events in the book. But I still enjoyed it nonetheless. I think I will be keeping an eye out for Farida's future works. Very excited to see. I was very sad that my first 5-star predictions vlog, both of them ended up to not be 5 stars, but you know what? That means we can only go up from here. So we can go from there. But yeah, I really had a fun time with this book, and I'll definitely have her on my lookout for their future releases. I don't know their pronouns. Boop, 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 boop. This is also pretty, it says her. Their pronouns are her. But this was also, I don't know how updated this, 2001's jacket illustration, jacket design, author photo. Yeah, I don't know how accurate it is. So, but we're gonna go with her, by her books in the future. Moving on to the last book that I read in March, but not the last book in this wrap up, and that is Spirit Bound by Rochelle Mead. This is the 5th and second to last book in this original Vampire Academy series. It's a YA, I guess like paranormal fantasy following young Rose Hathaway, who is known as a Dampier in her family. That means she is a half vampire, half human, and she is designed to protect the Moroi, who are full vampires. Her best friend Lissa is their Moroi, and is the last child of a very great Dragomir line, who is like one of the great vampire line, the Dragomirs, who is supposed to take her seat as one of the royal bloodlines when she turns 18. The two of them in the first book are dragged back to the academy due to after having run away due to some mysterious force that had forced them out, and this is where we are in the 5th book. I ended up giving this a 5 out of 5 stars. I really did enjoy this novel, probably one of my favorite out of the middle books that I read so far, or one of them. I did have issues with it though, mainly with characters. I have certain characters on my shit list at the current moment. But I did enjoy the book, and I'm very intrigued to see how this all wraps up and ties together and figures itself out, because it'll be a very interesting ending. And I'm really excited to see how it's going to end, but I'm also not prepared. So, my last vlog for this series will be out in this month. So, if you guys haven't had a chance to watch me go through the inevitable emotions that the series has put me through, I will leave the first vlog down below for y'all, and y'all can also just find the playlist of my reading vlogs and go through all the Vampire Academy reading vlogs. I think I also have a vlog for read-throughs, so I will also leave that link down below for y'all to enjoy. The second to last book I read in March is actually a graphic novel, and that is The Tea-Dragon Society by Katie O'Neill. It's a graphic novel following a young girl who learns about tea dragons, and tea dragons are just like little itty bitty dragons that grow little tea leaves on them, and they require, much like most plants do, lots of care and love to be able to provide the proper tea leaves for you to brew tea. I gave this, I think, a 5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. It was very cute, very cozy, exactly kind of what I needed to break up a little bit of what I was reading at the time. So, nice little reset, and I will be continuing on with the series as I really did enjoy this book. Yes, I highly recommend this if you haven't read it. This got really popular, I think, at the beginning of COVID, around that time, and it's definitely like one of the pioneers for like the cozy genre when it comes to reading novels, or the genre for cozy, you know what I mean. And the last book on my March my March wrap-up is Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. This is an adult short story compilation following a cafe who is well known to have this specific seat, this one little seat, where you can travel back in time and talk to anyone who has visited the coffee shop. So you could, like, if your aunt came and you guys had a really bad argument and you guys haven't been talking for a while, you can come visit her and kind of like, or you can come visit and like have the conversation again, but it will not change anything, or it shouldn't change anything in the present time. The catch is that you have to have this conversation and have met with this person before the coffee gets cold, or else you are stuck there forever. I ended up giving this a 5 out of 5 stars. I really did enjoy this novel. I think it was a fun, very like emotional read, though I didn't find myself crying through it necessarily, but I did really enjoy it, and I think I will be continuing on with, I think, the trilogy, which is, I forgot what the next book is called, but I can visualize the cover in my mind. But yes, I'm very excited to continue on, and I'm very mad that I took some time to read it. But that is it for the books I read in March. If you guys have read any of these books and really enjoyed them, let me know in the comments down below. Until then, hit like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!